Vincent here with Bocconi Real Estate. I'm here with Cam Rook. We're in Wine Kitz, Newmarket, talking a little bit today about making your own wine, but not just wine.
Wine, beer, and cider, basically anything that ferments. Officially, this is called a ferment on premise retail outlet. So we make anything that ferments, we make it in the back.
Okay, and so and here everything is available to you here. You don't need to bring in anything. If you want, everything is here. Facility.
That's right. We have all the equipment and everything we need to make those products for you. We also have the equipment and supplies for you to make it at home if you wanted to make it at home as well.
And you could rent or you can buy the equipment. Really,
most of the equipment you need to buy, but there's certain big ticket items that we rent out as well. Filter machines and corkers and things like that.
Okay, and so how long have we been in business here?
In this location, we've been here just over a year. We moved here last August from Bayview and Newmarket. We used to be out there. And we needed a more customer-centric place. We needed a space that was a little bit more friendly for the customer, as well as the establishment itself, the plaza itself is a little bit more customer-friendly. So we want to make it a little bit better for our customers as well as for us, because with a little bit more space here, it's easier for us to work in the back. We have a little bit more space to work in.
And you want to be in a good mood when you're making wine.
Absolutely.
It translates into the flavor, into the process.
That's right.
Not only drinking wine, you want to be in a good mood, but making is important too.
Right. And right now, the plaza is undergoing a transformation. They're redoing the facade on it and redid the windows and doors. So it's going to be that much better when they're done.
Seems like a lot of Newmarket is changing over like that. Have you noticed a change in the last years with Newmarket?
Well, not so much. I haven't been here that long myself. So when I took over the store a few years ago, that was really when I came into Newmarket. So to me, it's pretty much the same as it was. A little bit more in the developments, like housing developments going on, especially up in Sharon and Queensville, up that area.
Right.
So I do notice that definitely, and it is busier along here than it used to be.
Right. It's good. More people drinking wine. More people ready to make wine.
That's what we hope.
People like me.
Exactly.
Okay, and so I have this idea that making wine is very complicated. I think that's why a lot of people don't do it. Not that complicated.
It's not that complicated, and a lot of people actually think it's not very good either. Maybe they've had their uncle's wine from back in the 50s or 60s or something. But the products here are very good. Excellent wines that you can make, and it's not that hard either. Essentially, well, do you want to go through it?
Yeah, why don't we go take a look?
All right.
We'll walk me through the process.
Okay.
So here we are in the back room, and we're looking at a bunch of pails. So what's going on with these pails?
Well, these pails here, it's what's called a primary fermenter. So you mix up your juice and your water, throw in your yeast into these pails, and it'll sit here and ferment for about 2 weeks. There's not much else you do to it. You just kind of let it sit. You check to make sure it's okay. Some of them, for example, some of our kits include grape skins with them.
Okay.
So that gets added in here in what's called a muslin sack.
Okay.
And one of the things you have to do with those ones only is open it up and push that bag down to make sure that it doesn't sit on top and get nastiness on it.
Right, you want to get fully saturated
Exactly.
inside the juice.
Other than that, these just sit here for 2 weeks basically and ferment and generate this nice smell in here.
Oh, it
so that's where it's coming from.
It smells incredible in here. Beautiful. Okay, and then so from here, from the pail, here we are into these things. What are these called?
These are called carboys.
Okay.
And what we do is we siphon off the wine from the pail into these carboys, taking it off all the sediment, because at the bottom of the pail is a layer of sediment in there. And we get as much of that off as we can. And we put it in here, and we add some ingredients to it to make it wine, make it better wine.
Right. I mean, yeah, so what are we adding?
So what do we add? So we have a number of different things. First one's potassium metabisulfite.
Okay.
It's a very small amount, and if you look at the bottle in the LCBO, someone will say contains sulfites.
Okay.
That's what this is, or this is what that is. And it's a preservative, and it's actually naturally occurring in wine, up to about 50 parts per million. So we add a little bit to that to help preserve it.
Okay.
When you're dealing with this type of product, it's good to have a little bit extra preservative.
Sure, yeah, you don't want to go in bad losing all your wine.
Right, exactly. And the good thing is that even though we're adding some sulfites to it as a preservative, we're still not up there in the range of some of the wines that are in the LCBO.
Right, okay.
We're still a lower level than a lot of them.
Good.
The second thing we add is potassium sorbate.
Okay.
And it's a stabilizer. What it does is it prevents the wine from fermenting any longer,
Okay.
any further.
We don't want it to over-ferment.
Well, if it ferments in the bottle, then you'll be blowing corks and things like that.
Right.
Right?
Okay.
And you'll have exploding bottles in your cellar, which you don't want.
Don't want.
So that stops any fermentation from ever happening again.
Okay.
And it actually works with the sulfite as they make it really nasty for bacteria. It's
Okay.
a nasty environment for bacteria. It won't thrive there at all. So they work together, actually. They're good for that. The last thing we add is two things. These work together as well. These are clarifiers.
Okay.
So when you're looking at a wine, it looks pretty clear.
Yes.
And that's because the clarifiers have grabbed onto all the sediment that's there and pulled it to the bottom. You can see
Right.
sediment in the bottom of the
Right.
carboy. So one is positive based and one's negative. So they work together to draw out all the particles
Right.
in the wine. And this one here is called chitosan, and it's actually based on shellfish. It
Okay.
comes from shellfish. So
Okay.
if you are sensitive to that, we don't add that.
Okay.
We can still
Okay.
clear it with just the wine.
Right, okay,
Right.
good. And
But-
so are we ready to drink at this point?
It's got to sit here. Once we add those in, it's got to sit and clarify, and it takes a few weeks for them to clarify out, to clear out,
Right.
to settle out. But we like to let them sit a little bit longer, depending on the type of wine. So they'll sit in here for 3 to 6 weeks.
Okay, what if it
These hard
doesn't
ones.
sit long enough? What happens?
Then it won't be as clear. And one thing you cannot do, because the next step after that is to filter your wine before you bottle it. If it's not clear, then you can't really filter it. It's not going to work very well.
Okay.
So it'll clog your filter, you'll have wine everywhere, and it still won't be clear when you put it in your bottle.
Okay. So we've come in here, we've purchased our juice, we've put it into a pail, it's fermented, it's clarified for 3 to 6 weeks, it's been filtered, and here we are ready to bottle. What happens now?
So the customer will come in with their bottles, or if they don't have their own bottles, I have them available for
Okay,
sale.
and you don't bottle.
I do not bottle.
Customers
but
have to bottle their own.
That's one of the rules of ferment on premise.
Okay.
The customer is responsible for their own product. I can do everything to it, except throw in the yeast and bottle.
Okay.
I can babysit it, take care of it all over those 2 months, say,
Right.
that it's here in my store.
But if you want to drink it, you got to put it in a bottle and you have to do it yourself.
Correct.
Okay.
That's right.
Okay.
The customer is allowed to sample it before they bottle.
Very
You always
important-
want to make
very-
sure
very
that
important
it's
process.
good before you go through all that work.
Of course.
To bottle it, to make sure it's okay. And we have a 100% satisfaction guarantee.
Okay.
If you don't like it for whatever reason, money back, or we'll get you a different kit.
Okay.
Yeah, so if you don't like the Valpolicella, we'll get you a Cab Sauv, if it
Makes sense.
if it turns out like that. So when the customer will come in with their bottles, we have a cart here that we normally stack them on. In the sink here, we have a sanitizing pail.
Okay.
Rinse out the bottles with that, a little bit of water. We have a little drying rack that we put here,
Okay.
right beside our bottling machine.
Okay.
And from there, once the bottles are clean, go to the bottling machine. And it's a vacuum machine, four-banger we call it. And what it does is it draws the wine out of the carboy and up into here, and it auto levels. So
Okay.
it fills the bottle. Once the bottle's full, it carries it over into the pail here, which is clean and sterile, and
Uh-huh.
we can keep that wine as well.
Yeah.
And we just fill
And that
the
way you're
bottles.
not filling it up yourself in your kitchen sink or in your laundry room, wine everywhere. The
Right.
machine takes care of it, levels it off, all the wine's going into the bottle.
Exactly.
Beautiful. No wasted wine.
No wasted
Very
wine at
important,
all.
no wasted wine.
No
You don't want to
wasted
waste any wine.
That's the biggest thing.
Very important.
Yeah, and that's why when you're doing it in the store, you were asking me this earlier, one of the benefits is I get very high yields out of my wines.
Right.
Because I'm doing lots of them together, so I'm not wasting any wine.
Right.
Because it gets caught in the filter pads and things like that. So, and even into the bottom of this tube. So we lose very little in our store here. We have very high yields.
Very
That's
good.
one of the benefits.
Huge benefit.
Yes, in my opinion. So we fill up the bottles, and when they fill, you just pull them off and stack them up over there beside the corker, and then we get ready to cork.
Okay.
And that's it.
So we filled our bottles.
Bottles are full, they're stacked over there, and it's time to cork the bottles.
Time to cork.
Doesn't matter whether they're screw top or not, it can be any kind of bottle, not any kind of bottle, but any kind of wine bottle will work. The machine's automatic corker, it works on an air compressor. It would fire it up, but it's pretty loud.
Okay.
Essentially, pop a cork in the top, put your bottle in there, hold the door closed, and it puts the cork in your bottle. You take it out of there and you stack it here.
And so
It's bottled.
what would I do if I didn't, I mean, I don't own a corking machine. If I wanted to cork a bottle of wine at home, what would I do?
There's different ways. There's hand corkers, floor corkers that you can use at home. We have corkers that we rent to people that don't have them.
That insist on doing it at home?
Yeah, yeah. So we have all kinds of equipment that we rent out. So we have filter machines and corkers and cappers, if you're doing beer bottles, for example.
Right.
So we have equipment that we rent out as well.
Much easier to use the powerful corking machine.
This is way easier and very fast.
Okay,
Very fast.
and no mess.
Takes a few seconds. No mess.
Okay.
Unless the bottle breaks. So if you're doing it with a floor corker, for example, or a hand corker, and the bottle breaks, the neck snaps or
Doesn't
something.
sound fun.
No, you're gonna have a mess.
A lot of wasted wine.
This year, there's a shield on it. You know, it's a safety thing for one, glass shattering. You know,
Right, right.
It won't spray around, but it contains the mess as well. And
Right.
we've had a few go.
Sure, I'm sure.
It happens.
Yeah, and so we've corked our wine. Now what do we do?
Next thing we do is put on labels and caps.
Okay.
So, and they do serve purposes. So the caps keep the dust off the cork. So
Okay.
when you go to open that bottle of wine, you don't want dust and grime
Sure, falling into the bottle. Yeah.
falling into the bottle, exactly. So that's what the caps are there. It's to protect it. And there's a shrink machine. They're called shrink caps. And it's just basically plastic that is heat sensitive, and when it goes into this machine, the bottle, you put it on the bottle and slide the bottle in. And it
Shrink
shrinks
wrap.
the cap,
Yep.
shrinks the cap on. And it's very quick, it takes a second, basically slide it in, slide it out, it's done.
Okay, and
That
then
fast.
these are your label options?
Yep, we have labels for practically every flavor of wine we sell, as well as some fun ones. We love the wine you're with and things like that. Ones for weddings, and specialty ones as well. So if you have a cellar, a wine cellar, and you want to try to keep track of everything,
right.
without having to lift up your bottles, we have little tags there as well. You can write on what it is and stick it on the bottle in the rack.
And what if I wanted to make customized labels?
We do have customized labels as well. We print them on our computer. We got a special computer that does it, software programs that do it. Yeah, so we've done that quite a number of times for special occasions, usually weddings and christenings and things like that. We've done them for.
Great housewarming gift. If you see a Peconi real estate bottle, it's probably been made here.
Perfect. That's what we like to hear. Well, it's wine in a bag.
so like you can make that?
Yeah, so these ones here are good because they're a little bit more durable. You know, the new generation doesn't want to crush grapes and go through all that.
I'll buy the
original-
juice, no problem.
Exactly, yeah, they will do it. And
Yeah.
then they do it at home for a bit, and then they go, yeah, it's too much work.
Yeah, it's
Then
way
they'll
too much
make it
work,
here.
too much mess.
And make it here.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how the cycle goes. Well, a lot of my customers used to make it at home.
Right, and they realize it's just not worth it.
Yeah. It's
So it's a bit more if you make it here, I guess, or what? How does it work?
Yeah, it costs more to make it here.
What's the difference?
It's $55 for me to make it for you.
It's like nothing.
It's
Like if you do the math, it's like it's nothing. Like please make my please
It's
pay
$2
$5
a
for the
bottle.
mess. It's like, you know.
Yeah.
How many bottles do you get out of one of these?
30.
30
All of them
bottles.
make 30 bottles.
30 bottles.
With the exception of ice wines and ports.
Oh, and you can make your own ice wines here.
Yeah, yeah. That Pret box up there is, it says dessert wine on the box.
Right, but it's
port.
ice wine, yeah.
It's
Or it's port. That'd be cool too, make your own port.
Yeah.
Okay, so here we are in front of the juice wall,
The wine wall.
the wine wall, and there's a few different options here, a few different boxes. So do they make, the bigger boxes make more wine or the smaller boxes make less? Tell me a little bit about what these options are.
Well, all of these regular kits that we have make 30 bottles, every single one of them.
Okay,
These are juice concentrates, and they range from the 7.5 liters up to 18 liters. So for the 7.5 liter, you're going to add a fair amount of water into
Okay.
your mix to bring it up to 30 bottles,
Right.
which is 23 liters.
okay,
So obviously, those are going to be a little bit lighter wines. You get up to the big boxes, are going to be more full-bodied, well-rounded flavors.
okay. So more juice, better wine,
Better tasting wine.
better tasting wine. Smaller box, more water,
Lighter tasting
lighter
wine.
tasting wine.
We also have, we have every flavor under the sun that you could think of. You name it, pretty much we have it. We also have fruit wines as well, you know, if you like those. A little bit lighter tasting, they're 7% alcohol approximately, but all kinds of flavors, tropical fruit, spiced lime, strawberry, peach.
And it won't
Just goes
taste,
on and
and
on.
it won't taste like my uncle's old wine.
It won't taste like your uncle's old wine. These are high quality products. All of them are very high quality. All of them make great products, just how rich, full-bodied do you want it? That's
Okay.
really what it boils down to.
Beautiful. Cam, thank you so much for walking me through the process. Really a lot easier than I thought. I can't wait to start the process myself and make a whole bunch of bottles of wine. For those people now who know about it and want to get involved in it, what's the best way to get a hold of you?
Well, pretty much anyway. We've got a phone, obviously, 905-836-8240. We also have an email, info@winekitzNewmarket.com, or you can find us on Facebook. Also, you can just walk in the front door, and we're always welcoming new people in the store.
Perfect. And where are we located?
We are located at 18075 Leslie Street, which is a block south of Green Lane.
Okay.
Where Princess Auto is, you'll be able to find us.
Beautiful. Cam, thank you so much for your time today. Like I said, I can't wait to get to it and make some wine.
Thank you.